we'll have this discussion.
Discussion? What discussion?
This is a discussion combustion.
Coming to you from Denver, Colorado.
This is Discussion Combustion Podcast with your hosts, Kevin Batstone and Arthur Raw.
Good to be that way. It really is.
It
keeps you present.
Yeah, egos don't work, I don't feel like. I mean, some people have them, and I guess it does work for some people. There's a lot of that in this business. We've worked with some that have it, and it's just not, there's something I like about authenticity, and I think that's what really excels in this market, in this business, and just in being a good human.
Exactly.
Right? You don't see a lot of authenticity anymore. Everyone's trying to play a character and tell you what you want to hear, and everyone's trying to screw someone over, I feel like.
That is exactly what it's like these days, and it's unfortunate, and it sucks, and realness needs to come back. And I always say, just be yourself. It's okay to be yourself. Like, why would you want to be anyone else? Like,
yeah, that's a good point. And you got to kind of ask, like, how did we get here, right? How did, with the social anxiety and just the social indifferences and all this stuff, it's a buildup of everything, right? I think it's too much information. I think it's social media. I think it's mainstream media. And the nonsense that's constantly being fed at everybody.
Mm-hmm. Could be that. Or it could be individuals wanting to step on other individuals' toes, seeing someone get somewhere the way they got there, and they think, oh, well, I can do it too. And, instead of doing it their own way, which is odd.
That is odd. People trying to piggyback and springboard off other people's success.
In the wrong way.
In the wrong way. And that's going to happen. I mean, you see a lot of it in the music biz. Art, you can speak to that. I know you brought that up before.
Well, look, here's the thing, is if you're actually trying to make something happen in your life, like you just said, like you have to walk your own path. It's good to observe others, and I'll admit to it. A lot of people told me lessons and told me things, and they were right, and I should have listened to their advice, and I didn't.
Right.
And I had to find out the hard way. Right? So that's how I had to go through it and learn. I'm guessing a lot of people are like me. Like, I'm sure somebody told you at one point, you didn't listen, and then you had to learn the hard way, But, like, you have to stay diligent and dedicated to it, whatever it is. We all know deep down personally what will make us feel fulfilled, right?
Exactly.
Like, nobody else knows that for you.
No.
And we got Boo, Osha, across the table.
Yes.
A couple aliases. It's good to have you in here.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for making the trip down and sitting on the couch with us.
It's comfy too.
Oh yeah, it's it's not too bad. It works for the studio purposes, but it's always good to have a guest on the couch. We do some Zooms sometimes. Like I was saying off mic, we have guests cancel on us frequently, and that can be a scramble. And now that Art and I are doing 2 shows a week, it's like we're not doing. Him and I used to do a lot of solos.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
Where it was just him and I doing the episode.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So people get enough of us weekly. They don't need that.
Yeah, I don't know how much buddy banter we can come up with and still be, because we're authentic on here, but we don't squeeze the whole juice. We don't squeeze the whole fruit. Like, there's a lot of juice.
That's after hours.
Yeah, we leave a lot of stuff out, right? But so there's always so much that we could talk about just to us.
Sometimes though, like the juicer is really on point in some of these episodes, and there's a lot of juice that comes out. So much juice that YouTube's like, we got to pull this. Not this time, YouTube.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, it does happen. But, again, though, that's just what it is. It's about having fun, hanging out, getting to know people, the lost art, as we talk about.
Yeah. So, thank you for reminding me how our original introduction went.
Yes.
So you were enjoying nature.
Just enjoying nature, having some kombucha.
Uh-huh.
And I'd asked a number of people, there are these unfamiliar birds that were like on an island in the pond.
Yeah.
And no one knew what they were. And then you walked by, and I'm like, okay, I bet you know. You knew what they were, but I don't remember what you said.
I don't remember the name, but I knew that they were like a fish hunting type
of bird.
Were they cranes?
They weren't big enough to be cranes. They have a very distinct beak.
They're new. They just migrated to Colorado, so they're new.
I want to know what this bird is.
And they were beautiful.
Wow.
Different looking.
I'm assuming this was down the Cherry Creek area.
Yes.
In that you walk all over that damn place.
Yes.
If anyone in the Glendale, Colorado area wants to meet Arthur Rod, just go on a walk somewhere in Glendale and you'll probably bump into him.
Most days, and I'll be wearing a weighted vest and walking faster than I should.
And possibly doing a Snapchat story while he's doing it.
Yes.
No, you were just strolling.
Yeah.
You were just strolling that day.
It was nice, Walking is therapeutic to me. It's one of those things that's free. Mm-hmm. It helps my mind move.
Yes.
And I've really come to a lot of meaningful conclusions on things that I may have been overthinking about on walks.
I like walks.
You get to remove yourself. Either you're listening to music or you're just in nature. Like, I think both are good.
Yeah.
There's something special about taking the music out and you just
taking
listen
the
to
sounds.
Yeah, you just listen to nature. There's something about those walks that are really nice, especially, and I could talk for the whole podcast just about walking. But the one thing is, like, if I ever have the energy and motivation to get up before the sunrise, which is not often, but those walks are super special when I can make
the
those
pre-sunrise
happen.
walks.
Like, you're like walking and the sun is rising that morning.
That's beautiful.
You got the morning dew on the grass. We don't really see a lot of that actually here in Colorado. Back in New England, that was the thing. We had a lot of moisture in the air. You know, kind of like you were saying in Texas, you got dry and then you got wet, wet situations. So Lubbock,
Texas.
Lubbock, Texas. I've heard stories. So you're from there.
I'm from Lubbock.
Okay. What's like, if I were to go to Lubbock, what do I need to know?
There's not really much to know. I mean, Lubbock's a beautiful place. I think it's small, but a lot of people think it's big. The food is delicious. OMG. Like, even the fast food restaurants, it's like they care. The food is just amazing. It's just a whole different level. I would recommend, if you guys do go to Bucket of Love or Lee's Cafe.
Bucket of Love.
And those are like locally owned?
Yep.
Okay.
Delicious food. And just be you. People in Lubbock, Texas can tell when you're not you. So
I feel like that's a lot of Texas. I haven't been to Lubbock. I've really only been DFW. That's really the only area that I know of Texas. But they're very authentic people there, I'd say. They're not afraid to speak their mind.
Not at all.
And they love hot conditions. They were telling me it was a cold front down there for the hottest NASCAR race in history.
That was a cold front?
It's cold front.
Wow.
Never heard that before.
That's hilarious.
And everybody gave me a very hard time for drinking
Bud Light.
It's
a Budweiser or a Coke 45 lifestyle out there.
What's a Coke 45 lifestyle? What is that?
It's a beer.
Colt 45. Okay.
Colt 45 and 2 zigzags. Maybe that's all we need, right?
Those are rough. Yeah.
They're very rough.
If
it's
you're
like
just
Steel
drinking
Reserve.
Colt 45s, like, that's straight malt liquor, isn't it?
That's what it is.
It's like Mickey. Have you ever drink Mickey's?
I've had a Mickey before.
Oh.
They're gross.
That gave me a headache just thinking about it.
I mean, that's what
How about Old E?
Dude, that's what we were drinking when you were 19 and I was illegally buying.
I did not underage drink.
It was non-alcoholic.
Yes. No underage drinking. We don't promote that.
No, absolutely not.
Right.
But yeah, that's like that old school, like, I gotta go through my couch and find enough change to get a 40 type of drink.
We were young.
Exactly. And it hit the spot.
Steel Reserve, though, I can't do it. I just can't do it. It's no good.
Wow.
It's no good. Straight headache in a can or in a 40 glass bottle. Yeah. No good.
So preferred alcohol, what would it be? Do you drink at all?
Not really a drinker, but when I would drink, it was wine. If I have beer, it's like Coors. I haven't had a Budweiser in so long. Kombucha, because it's
alcoholic kombucha.
Delicious.
I guess there's a little bit in there. Like, do they sell? Like,
they actually have
there's
some
the 21 and up kombucha.
Alcoholic,
really?
yeah.
Yep. Well, because it's naturally fermenting anyway. They put that, if you look at like the GT's kombucha on the back, it says, if you're avoiding alcohol for religious purposes or whatever, this may contain a trace, just like non-alcoholic beer contains traces of it. But it's good. I have had the hard kombuchas. Now, if you're going to go...
What it's called, hard kombucha.
I haven't had that.
GT's makes them.
It's so good.
I'm really curious about that now.
It's so good.
It is good. And kombucha's good. I enjoy it. I like that vinegary... it's good for the gut. If I drink too much, though, I'll be honest, it's not good on some things.
Or whiskey. I like whiskey. I'm a whiskey drinker.
Ooh, whiskey.
Yeah, if I
Bourbon?
do shots, no, not really.
Okay.
Like Jameson's. I'm not sure if that's a bourbon, but Jameson's.
It's Irish whiskey.
Or the one with the red lid on it, Kentucky.
Maker's Marks. That's bourbon. That's bourbon.
Well,
Kentucky
that's delicious.
Bourbon. Yep.
I normally like my liquor straight, no chasers, because it doesn't make sense.
Basil Hayden bourbon.
I haven't had it.
Delicious.
Okay.
Recommended.
Okay.
That is good too.
Courtesy of Southern Glazers.
Okay.
Wine and spirits.
I'm giving him a hard time for doing that. That's what's fun about watching, is because
you'll see the reaction shots.
You can see, like, I'm like looking at him like this, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Free plugs.
Hey, we're not.
We love giving free plugs.
That's fair.
It's nice, and honestly, this is some nice material here, Kev.
Thanks.
This is nice. This actually was way softer than I expected.
Is it cotton?
It's Travis Matthew.
Oh.
So whatever.
That is nice.
Whatever that's made of, I don't know. My company gives me, so when I'm not doing this, I sell alcohol.
Okay.
If you didn't, it's kind of what I do. I sling some booze, and I have a fun time doing it. I really do enjoy it. Love my customers. It's fun. It's a fun industry. Got to learn a lot about it. I didn't know a lot about wine and spirits, but you mentioned that you drink wine. So if you're a wine drinker, what are you going with?
It depends on what I'm eating. It depends on my mood.
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm in like a mood, if I'm in like I don't want to say depressed, but if I'm in a mood where I'm not feeling too great, it's probably a red wine.
Okay.
Probably red. If I'm eating like fish or like pastas or
Pinot Gris.
maybe salad, it's something. It's a pink or it's a Pinot for sure.
Okay.
So I'm picky. I'm picky.
Okay.
Because liquor's gross when you
Yeah.
you know it can hit you. You can get headaches from it. It can mess up your stomach, and you got to throw it up, and it's just.
Yeah, that's
you gotta
no
be
good.
Careful.
You do. Yeah, everyone drink responsibly for sure. That's an important message.
Yeah.
And it's poison, so it's
It
like,
is.
you know.
It's literally what it is. I mean, it's used to, clean things, and probably not meant to ingest it, but
Very
we've made an
careful
entire
with
society about it.
How I drink it, what I drink it with.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that is easy to go overboard with. I'm definitely
Definitely.
guilty of doing that.
Oh.
So, like, I didn't drink too much during the summer, and then I started drinking a bit again.
Yep.
I had lost weight in between there, and I got wrecked on whiskey. Like, I was hungover for, like, 3 days, and then I kept drinking, so I was, and it's just like...
We're on a full send bend.
It was so easy to just go the opposite direction that I had been going.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just got to be careful with that.
Definitely.
And whatever feels best. So anybody out there that's doing a Sober October,
It's all done.
keep it up. The month's almost over. I'm making a commitment. I've already made it, but I'm going to make it here public on the podcast. I'm going till the end of the year.
Awesome.
My man.
Not non-drinking. I'm just going to stick with that. So I'm putting that out
That's
here
awesome.
on wax right now. And if I fuck up, I'll be honest about that and hold myself accountable.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I'm doing that, though.
And like I was, explaining beforehand, June 7th, 2024 will be the end of alcohol for me. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge. A lot of people you don't think I can do it. There's a lot of people that say there's no way Kev's going to be able to do this, and I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
You
I'm
got
going to do
it.
it.
You
It's
got
going to be
it.
fantastic. And there's a whole story behind it, why I picked that date. It's not that I'm kicking the can down the hallway. I've been saying that date for 7 years.
You have been.
So
what is the significance of that date?
I'll be turning 35. I didn't want to drink past 35.
Okay.
So that's really what it is. My dad's been sober a long, long time, and I was like, 35's got to be it. Long history of it in the family. It's not good for my health, and I have an addictive personality.
I was going to say, do you feel like you're becoming more addicted to it versus it just being something that you enjoy doing socially or just because it tastes good and makes you feel good?
The taste is definitely there. I mean, I
Okay.
love, I've been a Budweiser guy for as long as I've been drinking, Bud Light. So I love the taste. For me, I think it's more breaking the habit.
Okay.
Podcasting, beer. Watching NASCAR races and
okay.
cooking, beer. Right? It's just part of that habit. Get home from work, beer. Crack a beer.
You just don't like the habit anymore?
It's just, I'm going to have to substitute it with something, fill that void as we were talking to Vince in the hallway about. And it's doable.
Okay.
It's 100%
Of course it's
doable.
doable. And it's okay to even talk about why you want to not do it anymore.
Yeah.
And be okay with that,
Yeah.
And be honest about it.
For sure. So yeah, it's gonna be a great year. But good for you, man, for sticking through it through the end of the year. I like that. And then things are gonna be shaking up around here.
It's gonna be good. And what I've really uncovered is that
I'm happy for you.
yes, and me too, man.
Yeah, and you
And
too.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
be your
definitely.
biggest cheerleader. Okay.
Thank you.
I'll be right here, not drinking with you.
I love it.
We'll have like all the sparkling waters and stuff in here.
I'm gonna drink the Budweiser Zeros. I'm still
Yeah.
sticking with Bud, but it'll be the zero
Yeah.
alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
So
But you can have a lot of fun. Look, I'm not doing sober October. I'm doing alcohol-free October because me and Bob Marley, like,
alcohol free.
yeah, we're homies. Me and Bob Marley, we get down together. We have a lot of fun.
Okay.
that is a good point.
I'll be honest. I'm not doing sober October. It's alcohol-free October for
Okay.
me. And
Sober-er
now,
October.
Now until the end of the year. Yeah.
Sober-er. It's fun to challenge yourself though with stuff
It
like
really
that. People
is.
do, not drinking for a year, a month, fitness challenges. Do you ever do anything like that?
I'm trying to honestly not be so needy when it comes to tobacco.
Oh, tobacco.
Yes.
That one got me in my
I
20s.
absolutely hate tobacco, but for some odd reason, I feel like I need it in moments. Like before I was gonna come here, I felt like I needed it. I actually saw I had like a half of a Black and Mild, and I wanted to smoke it, but I fought against it.
Good.
And there's a lot of reasons why I'm not smoking, but it's just gross. And
Nicotine's
it's not
a
good
tough
for your
one.
health and a lot of other things.
Yeah, nicotine's tough.
It's so tough. It is.
Yeah, I was a chewer. I chewed tobacco. That's why I have toothpicks in now. Like I gave up chew for mint toothpicks, and I've stuck with it. but I chewed a lot, and it's no good.
It's not good at all.
It's no good. It's terrible for you, like you said. I never did smoke. I mean, I have smoked, but I never got addicted to it. I got buddies that smoke cigarettes. I don't like the smell of it. You know, I think it's disgusting.
It's so disgusting. It really is, and it's it's embarrassing. I don't smoke in front of people because I think it's that gross.
Okay, so when you're done, are you like the type you're like washing your hands really quick and like brushing your teeth and making sure all the smell good is on?
Everything.
That's how my ex would do it.
I will not smoke around anyone. I don't even smoke in my car. If a car pulls up to me and I'm smoking, I put my cigarette down and I make sure no smoke's coming up. Like, it's horrible.
Well, so you're kind of like a closet smoker almost, like.
Kinda. But I'm over it.
I mean, look, everybody's got something, right? Everyone's got that crutch they're leaning on, you know, whether that's Bob Marley, nicotine, alcohol. Some people are into some hard shit, you know. Everyone's got something. Food, sugar.
Addicted to working out.
Porn, sex. Like everybody's got something.
Out too much,
Working out.
Yeah, I mean.
Social media.
Everything in moderation that's the key.
It really is the key.
I learned the chemical in the brain is actually called L-DOPA, which we commonly know as dopamine, right?
Okay.
And that chemical is released, you know, constantly from feeding that addiction, whether it's, like I said, porn, food, alcohol. You're constantly chasing that L-DOPA, and that can come from a lot of areas, right? And that's where the addiction starts to, you know, really develop.
It's already naturally being released,
right.
But when we do things to make it release unnaturally, it has this thing where it wants that more, you know, because it's an elevated feeling. And then you get so used to that you can't really break it, or it's hard to break, which becomes obviously an addiction.
Yeah, and then you're just chasing that. It's like chasing the
Exactly
dragon.
like you said.
Yeah, that high. Yep, we see it.
I used to say I'm running from it because I don't like to think of myself chasing it because I'm always trying to run from it. So
that's probably a good analogy to affirm to yourself. Yeah, I'm not chasing, I'm running from it. Like that. There's always something chasing us.
Whatever analogies work for you, you just got to use.
Exactly.
Mine for all that stuff is like, I don't think demons ever die.
Oh, no.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
So like, at this point, I've said this before on the program, but I'll even say this to myself when I'm chilling by myself. I'll be like, opening up the door because the demon's knocking at it. I'm like, come on in, come on, old friend, I know you so well. And then I like get behind the demon. I'm like, yeah, and I like put it in the chokehold, and I choke that bitch out again until it's out of my house again. And you just keep reopening the door.
86 the demon.
Yeah,
exactly. I wrote something where I said that you helped me overcome my fears, but you exposed yours. And it was in reference to like individuals that, you know, try to trigger you or try to make you feel less than or try to like throw things in your face. When they do that so often, you figure out how to conquer that. You figure out how to like maneuver through all that. And then you end up realizing their insecurities and, you know, what's holding them back, you know. So they end up exposing themselves.
Yeah, it's good to put stuff like that out there so people can relate to it. They can release their, you know, whatever they got going on. Sometimes people just need someone to relate to. A lot of people out there are doing this alone. They don't have anybody.
Exactly.
You know, I feel very fortunate to have the friends and the family that I do. I mean, I can pick up the phone, someone's going to answer.
That's amazing. That's so amazing.
Not everyone has that.
Not at all. Not at all. And you know, my family, we're close, but we're not like the family that sits and talks about our feelings. So I do a lot of self-checkings with myself. But every now and then I do wish to have those people to just call and be like, you know, I'm going through this, or I've had this odd feeling and all these like odd situations happening, and I don't know, besides you guys, which is amazing. You guys obviously have experienced, you know, some demons in your lives and know what it's like to have to, you know, fight them off and, you know, get through it. So it's nice to kind of hear that, you know, not going too in depth, but yeah.
Well, it's good to look, everyone's struggling in some sense or fashion, you know, or struggling to maintain like whatever you're doing. So the more that we could like normalize it,
and that's what needs to be done, making it normal.
Yes.
And you had written something about knowing yourself, and I apologize, you mentioned the title of it.
The Power of Standing in Your Truth.
The Power of Standing in Your Truth.
I look forward to reading that.
Yep.
So what was that? What inspired that? What kind of was in there?
So what inspired that, again, is I met a lot of people that would like, well, I was in an abusive relationship, one, and I lost myself in that relationship. And I lost myself in a sense where I didn't know how to speak up for myself. I didn't have an opinion. I lost my opinion. I lost my interest. I lost what made me me, trying to be who he wanted me to be, and not realizing that he was changing me for his benefits. And in the process of doing that, I was vulnerable to a lot of people. So I had to figure out how to find myself again. I had to figure out how to be okay with being myself again. And that's what inspired that.
Mm-hmm. So standing in your own truth is really, because that's a powerful place. If you can have the courage to like recognize, first of all, your own truth, and a lot of times we might have our own shortcomings within that truth, right? And if we're really being honest with ourselves and accepting that, then that's actually a very powerful place to be mentally, especially if you can approach it with a little bit of neutrality and like be an observer of your life, almost like, hey, I am experiencing these things right now. I'm aware of that. I'm accepting that. It's tough, and you just got to accept that it's tough right now. But that's the foundation. Yeah. Like if you can't start there, then it's gonna be hard to build. So it was something that you wrote out. Like what?
I wrote it. It was a short story. Then I just turned it into a speech, and I just recorded it and I put it on Instagram.
Okay.
Yep.
We have to give that. We have to definitely give that a go.
I write poetry and I write raps as well. So, yeah.
Poetry. Okay. Are you making beats?
I do not make beats. My nephew makes beats though.
That's fun. It's fun. Being creative. Just anything creative like that is a lot of fun. It's an expressive emotion, and getting it out a little bit. Like some people get it out through, writing or whatever the case may be. For me, for a lot of years, it would come out in anger. I was a very angry person.
I've been there. I was down that road, and it's uncomfortable.
It's not good because that emotion has to go somewhere, and it stems from something. And sometimes it does take horrible situations like a bad relationship or, a bad workspace or just a bad experience to finally realize, like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's time to make a change.
Exactly.
Right? And some folks are not as fortunate to actually go, okay, it's time to make that change. And then they end up on, as we like to call it, complacent boulevard, rather than taking a left on Full Send Highway and owning life.
I love it.
Yeah, we got this whole analogy thing of like these roads and boulevard and parkways.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I like analogies.
What was the one? It was Impatient Parkway or something.
Yeah, we got Impatient Parkway. Yeah. We've got Complacent Boulevard. We got Pity Expressway or Pity.
Oh no, it was Pity Parkway.
Pity Parkway.
Yeah, that was it. So it's like, look.
I've been on Pity Parkway. I've been on the Boulevard.
Oh, I've been on all those streets.
I've been down the Avenue.
Yes.
Some people like to pull over and parallel park on Pity Boulevard, and they just want to hang out. They're making camp for the night.
And they're giving themselves a hard time the entire time about their parallel park job.
It's okay to, apologize to yourself and, recognize your hardships, but you got to do something about that. You can't just always sit and be sad about what you've gone through because you get nowhere. And it took me a while to realize that because I was one of the people that was like tough love, like suck it up, get over it, like who cares? Yeah. And now that I've experienced so much pain and so much hate, I know what it's like to I know the importance of actually sitting down and being like, you didn't deserve that. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to want someone to talk to. Now what do you do next? So.
Yeah, it is, and like I said, unfortunately, it takes unfortunate circumstances at times to realize that. But again, kudos to you for being like, I don't like where I'm at. It's not a good situation. No. Self-love is so important.
It's
you can't.
Important.
How can you love other folks if you can't love yourself?
Exactly. For some reason, individuals feel like you have to be loved to know how to love, but it's like, no, you have to love yourself to love correctly.
Absolutely. And I think that's a problem that we see a lot, especially, I can only speak for the American culture. I'm sure this is a worldwide thing, but we see so many people, like, they identify as, oh, I'm married, I have this person. So what about you? Like, what's your core? That's great. Marriage is all well and good. That works for you. But so many folks are like, oh, I got to be married. I'm getting old. I got to get married. It's like, well, what about you? Right. What are you doing for yourself? And then that person, I think, comes along, or maybe you have that experience that can develop after you found self-love and mission, drive, and purpose.
That's when true love comes. That's when the right person comes. When you are right within. When you know when you're making the right choices. When you're in a healthy place, you get someone healthy gravitates towards you.
That's true.
When you're not in a healthy place, you end up. All these individuals that are just as unhealthy, that needs help, is gravitating towards you because you obviously can help them get out of that place.
That's true. Yeah. But it's like the laws of attraction. What we put out there, we attract more of. And this analogy actually just popped in my head. It's like if you go out there looking for a fight, which I used to do when I was angry, you're going to find a fight. If you go out there looking for a girlfriend or whatever, you're going to find one, but it probably isn't what you want. It's probably not going to go well. It's going to yield negative results. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know if that analogy made sense, but in my mind it did.
No, it does. Yeah. I just disagree a little bit with the law of attraction. Like, with what you put out is what you get back in. Because I don't necessarily feel like I put out that type of love to where I got so much hate, but I think because I was such a good person, people were coming towards me to teach me how to have stronger boundaries.
Sure.
You know?
So do you think like...
I learned the lesson.
You learned the lessons,
a lot
right?
Of lessons.
But you stayed consistent in putting out...
Oh, I never became bitter. I never became resentful. I never became like the people that were, angry towards me. I never set in being a victim.
And now you're finally starting to reap some of those benefits, right?
Definitely.
Of putting that out there.
I had to be aware and present, and
that's good.
Yeah.
So sometimes the laws of attraction take time. It's not going to be instant.
True.
You got to go through those hard times on Rocky Boulevard to get to some other street.
Well, and look, until you get beat up a little bit in life, like, I didn't know a lot of lessons until, like, I learned it the hard way, and I didn't know some of my boundaries until I started respecting myself. There was many years, like over a decade, where I just wasn't really, truly respecting myself.
Right.
So that was my own fault, and...
That's so hard. That's a hard pill to swallow.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, once you do swallow that pill, like
of course.
That's the weird thing. Like, it's just like even consistently walking most days, or anything that you create as a habit in your life. When it's brand new, it's more conscious. You're trying to implement it. You're trying to make it a habit, part of it. But then once you keep doing that, and obviously repetition is the mother of skill.
It is.
Then all of a sudden it just kicks in and you're doing it. So I don't know, relationships, we can definitely get into.
Well, that's a whole podcast in itself.
Yeah, that's a whole lot there.
They
but
taught me affirmations, the importance and the realness of affirmations. Like, affirmations are everything.
They're huge, and they're.
Gee.
It's one of those things, though. I feel like it's a long game, right? We live in a world where instant gratification is so. Everyone. I need it now. I want it now. Boom! I'm going to say it a couple times and get it. Affirmations take years.
Yeah.
They take you have to be consistent with it, and just whatever works for you, whatever that is. Sure, you can sit there and say, "Oh, I want to be rich and happy," and you affirm that to yourself every day. You probably find a way to do that, but I think you need realistic affirmations.
Right.
My favorite one that I do, and Art knows this, is I'm strong, I'm healthy, I got this.
And those are affirmations. Those are legit affirmations. The other ones are like you're trying to convince yourself. You're trying to take yourself out of a place. Those other ones are just you're trying to convince yourself of something that you're not really ready to, where you're not really ready to be. It's just you're kind of in denial. You're trying to just not be in denial. But when you're saying like you're rich and you're not rich, why would you say that? It's more like I'm going to be successful, or I am successful at this, and then it's going to lead you there. Mine's is I'm authentic, I'm divine, I
like it.
I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I'm mindful, I'm aware of negativity, I am not projections.
That's good. Those are great affirmations.
Yeah.
Those are great, because it's the many steps to get to the big picture, right? There's a way to go about it, and
Definitely.
Art taught me a lot about it. The conscious mind picks up on the don'ts, won'ts, like those negative connotations.
The subconscious. So like for quitting cigarettes, because I agree that cigarettes are disgusting.
Oh, they're so gross.
And because I used to smoke. I smoked for like 2 or 3 years. Oh yeah.
He smoked prime times.
I was huffing.
I smoked prime times.
I remember him on the prime times.
Oh yeah, let me
the
get
PTs, baby.
Let me get the prime times up in this. I want that. No, but how it worked is I started telling myself. Oh wait, so to your example, if I wanted to stop smoking cigarettes, the incorrect affirmation would be, I don't smoke cigarettes. Because your subconscious doesn't hear the don'ts, nots, won'ts. So basically it's hearing, I smoke cigarettes. So instead I said, I'm smoke free.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing with alcohol. I'm alcohol free.
I'm alcohol free. And then also I started telling myself, cigarettes are disgusting. That was literally an affirmation of mine. Yep. And then instead of being that robust flavor that I loved when it was a little cold, I was like, ugh, this is
That's what
gross.
it's like now.
Yeah.
So they work, but they do take years. I'll agree with that.
It takes a huge commitment.
Definitely, it does. I mean, affirmations, it is a commitment, and it's a regimen. It's creating new habits and new patterns, and you have to actually put in the work to, make those patterns come into existence for them to actually be. So.
It doesn't work for everybody either. I think that's kind of the thing too.
Affirmations?
Is like,
they don't. People don't really.
If they don't subscribe to it, because
if you don't believe in it.
We've had some guests on this program in the past that were like, I think they're cuckoo or whatever, and then I remember responding to that with, well, do you believe that what you tell your body believes?
Oh, your body believes everything you tell it.
The guest was like, oh, absolutely. I'm like, well, then that's an affirmation, right? If you sit here and tell yourself, I'm sick, I don't feel good. I hear this all the time, especially in the last 3-4 years. People are always, I'm sick. Well, then, yeah, you're going to be sick. I'm strong, I'm healthy, I got this. This is my affirmation. I'm healthy as a horse, unvaccinated, ready to go.
Right.
Let's do this.
Right.
So I do believe that the body believes what you tell it.
It does. And the body knows when you're lying, too. Like, your mind, your heart, it knows your truth. So.
Yeah. It's good stuff, man.
Now, to all the listeners out there, the challenge for this week is to go ahead, look in the mirror, and be honest with yourself about something. I'll look in my look. I've reached a lot of levels of success, and I'm grateful that I've had the motivation, the peer group, and the will to do this sort of stuff. But I'm still dealing with stuff. I'm still trying to work it out. And success is not something that's just accomplished. You have to. It's like a garden. You constantly have to water this thing. Just because you made it doesn't mean you get to stay there.
Yep.
You have to continue the work. It never ends. So that's the challenge this week. Look in the mirror. Only you know your truth, and stand with yourself on that.
I like the weekly challenge, Art. It's always good.
It's been a minute. I don't think we threw a weekly challenge in a while here.
Yeah, we've been kind of goofing off.
Kind
of
freestyle though.
We had Jamie on last week. It's this is another serious episode. I like getting into these topics that matter and that people need to hear about. So I think that's good. And we kind of always like to talk to and I think you've kind of alluded to this a little bit, which inspired you to do your writing, but some of the hard times, right? We've all been through the hard times. I overcame anger and porn addiction and all this kind of stuff. And is there a pivotal moment that stands out to you? And you might have already answered this earlier, that you were like, all right, it's time to really take the wheel here and drive this thing in a different direction.
My sister's passing. Her passing, it put a lot into perspective. We always say life is short, and I feel like that saying is so underrated, and it is not taken as serious as it should be taken. I didn't expect my sister to pass away this year. I thought she was gonna live forever, and
R.I.P.
We hadn't talked. The last time I spoke to my sister was in 2021, and that was the end of 2021. And the last time I seen her, the last time I actually seen her face to face, I take that back, was in the beginning of 2022. It was one time, and then she's gone this year. So
sorry for your loss.
It sucks because I miss her so much, and there's so much that I wish I could have said to her and that I want to say to her, but her passing has taught me how important life is, how important moments are. There's a lot that she would say and she would do that I just didn't, it meant nothing. And now that she's gone, it means so much to me. So I just want to spend more time with the people that matter and be more present in the conversations that I have with the people that matter, and just show up and try to make a difference in someone's life as much as possible, you know?
Yeah.
So.
When you're definitely doing that too. I mean, I won't open up what you said off mic too much right here, but the fact that you are stepping up to the plate in all those different arenas, a lot of people would run from those responsibilities. So definitely admiration in your direction for, standing strong through your path, even not like how you say, I'm very careful with drinking and stuff, how you don't let that get out of control. A lot of people could be reactive and in adverse situations, get weak and start with dependency on abuse, like a substance abuse, so.
And that's one thing.
Takes strength.
Yeah, that's one thing I kept telling myself. I'm not going to use my sister's passing as an excuse to go back down a dark road. I'm just not going to. I mean, and it's not fair. It wouldn't make sense, and it wouldn't be fair to me. It wouldn't be fair to my nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, good for you, because a lot of folks wouldn't have taken that route. It's easy to go, oh, well, poor me. This is hard. I'm just going to throw my hands up and just whatever happens, happens. I don't care. Right?
And trust me, there's been moments where I'm just I get really sad, and I'm down, and I just want to go do something that's dumb. But it's what is that going to do for me? Where is it going to lead me? How am I going to accomplish my goals and being there for my nieces and my nephew? How am I going to help them make better choices if I am not making good choices, or if I'm even using the mom's passing as an excuse to make bad choices? I don't want them to see that and try to run with that,
Yeah, taking that leadership role it's not easy.
Yeah. No, it really isn't, and you can gain a lot of enemies that way too, but keep being a leader.
But here's the thing, is if they're your enemies for doing something like that, these people really probably weren't meant to be in your life in the way that you need people to be in your life.
Right.
And it takes courage and great question, Kevin, because we do like to get personal and peel back the layers. Not, everyone is so surface level nowadays and afraid to expose the hard truths of what everybody's dealing with. Everyone's dealing with something. So it takes courage to come on here, also on a podcast, and say it. So respect for that. But also it's motivating too, because when we hear these types of stories, first of all, we're like honored and like we feel humbled by it. But at the same time, it's like, what can I do to keep it up on that level? Like just hearing that was inspiring.
Thank you.
So. It's and that's the funny thing about life too. Like all my biggest lessons, like that came from the fire pits, like not easy times, but I'm so grateful for those hard times now because it helped shape me, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. Life is a catalog of hard times.
It is, and I don't think that you have to go through hardships to be a good person, to learn or to even be wise, But, if you do come out wiser and, a better person because of your hardships, more power to you, for sure. However, it's not needed.
That's a good point to bring up as well. Yeah, you don't necessarily need to see the dark side before you see the light.
At all.
Everyone's dealt a little bit of a different hand, and some people are dealt a really shitty hand. It's just, it's when it rains, it pours. It's one thing after the next. I know a lot of people that I've interacted with. They're like, man, it's just not getting any better.
Right.
But they still maintain a pretty, positive, optimistic outlook.
You have to. That's how it's been for me.
Yeah, that's good.
When is it going to get better? Doesn't matter. I'm going to stay happy.
Because it's coming, right? You just got to keep digging and riding that wave, right? Keeping positive. It's not easy to do. And anyone thinks it's easy to do. It's not.
No,
right?
not at all.
As Art used to say, you got to put your armor on every day and go to war with yourself because it's a battle.
You really do. And then those battles would you'd be happy to go into that battlefield. It's like, okay, it's nothing.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wear that armor so much that when I take it off, like I feel like I could jump a building, But one thing that I really liked about what you were saying is how, looking back, you had a longing for presence in those moments in the past, and it's interesting, this experience in life, because our past is important. There's lessons to be had there, but we're truly not living there anymore, right?
At all.
And so one thing that's really helped me, and I've said this on the pod a bunch, you've opened up, so I'm just going to say this so we're on the same level in this conversation in this room. And you were talking about porn and other addictions too that you've given up. So opiates was a big one for me. And one of the biggest things that's helped me maintain sobriety and feeling comfortable there is being present. Like on that walk on that day, it was such a beautiful day. Like I was just out there enjoying that. Like, man, it's a gorgeous day right
serene.
Now. And it's like, that's what's important, is being aware while it's happening. Too often people are looking at their phones, which we like to call binkies on this program now.
Courtesy of Gabe.
Yeah, courtesy of Gabe.
It is a binky.
Yeah, people are on their binkies all the time, and look, there's business on the binky. You can handle your business.
Hashtag business binky.
Yeah. You get 30 minutes of business binky time a day. Okay.
You think 30?
No, longer than that. We need longer than that.
Okay. Let's be realistic here.
There's a lot of business to be had.
There's business happening. But to your point, not to cut you off.
Oh, no,
the phones are no good.
Yeah, I'll get sidetracked and we'll get all down that. But yeah, we got to stay present and being aware that, like, sitting in this room, sharing the space with the two of you right now, this is cool. Like, this is a fun moment. Like, I enjoy this. That's why I keep coming back.
The power of now.
Yeah, the power of now. Did you get through that?
So as I said on the pod, I was gonna, I made a promise to everybody. I read The Power of Now, and it's fantastic.
Okay, you did finish that up.
It's fantastic.
Okay,
it really is. It's a short read. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. It's good. I like books like that. They're short, quick. Wasn't like it blew my mind, but it's like it's a different perspective and a different approach to things. And
a little reminder.
A little reminder. Maybe that's a better way. That's a better way to word it, because it is like sometimes. I used to I'm throwing microphone stands through the wall. Sometimes I fly off the handle. And I got to check myself.
That's okay. That's okay.
But the power of now, to your point, is exactly what we're doing right now. Is enjoying this experience and taking it in. Not really worrying about what I'm going to do once this podcast is over. Although I'm probably gonna have to use the men's room.
I actually have to go to the restroom.
Dude, you can go ahead and do that.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So you're just going to go out here, take a right, and then another right, and then it'll be on the right.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely, and we'll keep this rolling.
Oh yeah.
While she's gone, let me make sure that door stays unlocked for her.
Unlock that. This is a good conversation so far.
This has been a great podcast.
Yeah.
Anyone that's still viewing, stay tuned because we're about halfway through. We still got some juice coming.
Yeah, don't worry. I got a raw rant right here for everybody.
I love the raw rants.
You know, I mean, this is why it's important to, you know, just be an authentic person and have fun. And stay promoting what you believe in, right? Like, if this conversation wouldn't be happening if I didn't believe in what we did here, and believe it enough to talk to strangers about it.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what's interesting about it, man.
Well, just the evolution of discussion combustion is just it's stayed consistent as like to who you and I are, but it's also evolved in a way too. Right?
Yes.
And that mostly comes from just a catalog of guests, right? We've had 231 episodes, probably 200-ish guests because there's been some solos in there. That adds to the value of the program and where the conversation goes and the entrepreneurship and the experiences that we learn about and the way that the listeners and the viewers can interact with those people. And the lessons that I've learned from people that have been across the table from us, I think is worth its weight in gold.
I mean, that's really the part that, like, looking back, as much as we're talking about being present and stuff and being involved in the present.
It's good to reminisce, though.
It is. No, it's fine, and it's fine to jump into the past and especially be thankful and grateful, you know.
You never want to forget where you came from, and I've been doing a lot of reminiscing these past few weeks. I went to Quincy Ridge where we met, and I took this video, put it on social media for people that saw it, and you know, just having Jamie on last week and going down reminiscent. I guess it wouldn't be Boulevard. That's reminiscent Railway.
A reminiscent railway.
so
that reminiscent. So the railway, you can hop on the train, and then you don't know where it's going to take you. I guess. Right?
Train traveling. Let me ride your rails back to yesterday, baby.
Who sings that? Dirks.
Dirks Bentley.
I had a feeling.
You knew it. I love Dirks. He's fantastic.
I had a feeling you're going to go
but
with that.
There's nothing wrong with doing reminiscing. I don't feel like, especially you know, you don't necessarily want to reminisce on the shitty times. Usually, when we're reminiscing, we're laughing about fun times and stories and experiences and. We've done a lot of that, and it was cool to do that with Jamie last week.
It was. Humans are like one of the only creatures on the planet that can have a weird moment happen. Like, let's say that I embarrassed myself in 6th grade when I was, you know, discovering women and trying to talk to them or something.
In 6th grade?
Yeah.
That's a tough time, though. I mean, that's just...
And I'll still beat myself up about it today. No, not really. But like, what other creature would do that? Like where I didn't get that job or whatever, and now it's been 2 years, and now I'm beating myself up. I didn't ask that girl to prom in high school, and I'm 40-year-olds and like, man, if only I would have asked that girl to prom in high school. Yeah. And people are beating themselves up for forever about stuff.
It happens when you're doing that. You know, it's easy to get caught up in the past. I've done it. There'll be a memory that'll pop in. And I'm like an embarrassing time. The story I told, was it last week? Maybe the week before, when I was 14 years old and I clogged my girlfriend's toilet at the time, meeting her parents for the first time and overflowed it. I mean, talk about embarrassing. Sometimes I think about that. I'm like, I'll be driving down the road like, get that out of there. I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, we're talking about how like humans are like one of the only creatures that relives.
All right, now I'm gonna go.
Relives pain and like embarrassment. Like, you know, a squirrel, if it missed that jump to the fence, and like, you know how squirrelies get all squirrely. Like, they're not thinking about that tomorrow, like wondering what, like, but humans will do that.
Yeah.
Like we beat it up. Like we beat ourselves up over and over.
We do.
And so it's good to let go of it.
It's definitely good to let go of anything that makes you uncomfortable, anything that can definitely be holding you back. But it's also okay to have those moments because it keeps you, it reminds you to not take things so serious, you know? And even to laugh at certain things, like, especially stuff that's embarrassing, you know? And it keeps you relatable too.
Yes.
So.
Yes, everybody.
It's not always bad.
Oh yeah, I mean
So hold on.
I will definitely say some silly things, and we just we leave it and send it all, and that's the thing is like there is no such thing as like a perfect human being.
No, not at all.
Right, so you know the whole perfectly imperfect thing, that's a great place to be, and as far as like. Because it could be dicey. Like, we're social creatures. We want a human interaction. Like, it's important. Like, that's part of our genes. But you can't trust everybody, right?
Right.
So it's like how do you navigate being authentic, allowing people to come in at the right amount? It's like this big tightrope balance.
It's a balance. Definitely a balance. And The thing is, I know that we have to be around people. Like, we need that type of engagement and that type of interaction. But I don't like to be around people. So sometimes I have to put myself out there so I don't lose myself. Because I spend a lot of time to myself, and I do a lot of self-check and a lot of talking to myself. But I do know that there's times where I'm like, you have to get out. You have to be around people. You have to not make yourself a robot. Because,
Because being too disconnected too long, you feel like you kind of get... Like, it's awkward, like, when you come back or something?
I get misunderstood a lot.
So, what kind of subject are you getting misunderstood on? Like, what is it? Because
like
maybe people just don't understand.
When I disagree or when I have a different perspective, it's when I have a different, my opinion's vastly different, that's when I get misunderstood. And the misunderstanding is, when I get misunderstood, it's more like, they perceive me as being better, and it's like, that's not what it is. I don't think I'm better at all, you know. So people always mistake me for thinking I think that I'm better, or I think that I know it all, or I think that I know too much, or so yeah.
That's a tough one.
It's so tough because it's like, no, I just have a whole different understanding and a whole different knowing, and it might not even be anything. But it's just what I feel. And
that's good. Stick to that, though. You know, I mean, don't cave into the masses. I think that's the biggest thing that we don't see. A lot of people just go with the flow. Oh yeah, you're right. You know, I don't think this, or, you know, people don't stand up for themselves.
I can't go with the flow.
Yeah,
no. The flow is not making sense.
Going with the flow is a no-go.
And now a lot of people say go with the flow, and I've always been against that. I'm always like, no.
I mean, I believe in riding the wave, you know, and going through this journey, but sometimes you got to adjust on that surfboard. Sometimes you got to make aggressive moves.
Yeah.
You know, and some of that is taking a stand on things. I do it a lot. I say a lot of shit on here where people get pissed. They're like, this guy's an idiot. You know, he doesn't, and I don't know anything. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor, but I have an opinion.
You just know what you know. You feel what you feel. You express how you want to express it.
I stand my ground.
You know? All I know is other people's opinions aren't affecting my mood. It took me a long time to get there, but it's a great place to be because, like, look, I don't have to agree with everybody to respect them.
Exactly.
You know, I could disagree with you and still respect you. And have a respectful conversation where I have the exact opposite opinion.
Exactly.
Because I'm not about to get all upset and off my center because of somebody else and their perspective.
Couldn't be better said. I mean, and we're seeing that tremendously, you know. I hate to bring up politics, but it's like so many people write people off. Oh, you voted for this person? I don't want to talk to you anymore. You're stupid. And that's it. That's the end of it. They don't talk anymore because of a difference of a political opinion.
Or even a difference of a culture or a race, you know, and it's just like...
Yeah,
what?
A lifestyle judgment, a perspective on something. Well, I don't want to associate with that person anymore. And then essentially what they're doing is they're just isolating themselves and pushing everything away that doesn't fit in their perfect little bubble. And now you're just, that's what it is. You know, you don't have any innovation. You don't want to allow anything different in your life. That's probably been, we were kind of talking when you stepped out about, the best part about this program for me has been having so many guests come in and teach me different things and looking at different perspectives and having these conversations because if you're just sitting in your house and you're just watching Fox News every night, that's what you're going to believe. That's what you're going to stand behind. It's good to diversify. And I'm not calling out Fox News. I'm talking about everybody, all that stuff. If you just subscribe to one area, one mindset, that's it. That's where you're stuck on that. It's no good.
It's no good.
It is no good. It can happen to the best of us if we're not strong within our own mental. You know, we can definitely take in too much and just go down that direction and not have our own opinions, and that's unfortunate.
It is.
And I just hope people can kind of shake that off. You know.
Well, if they're not standing in their own truth and being aware of this, then they're going to be naive and just go wherever the river takes them. You know, and that's the thing is it's like when you get people that are like-minded, I consider the three of us like-minded.
You guys are amazing, by the way.
Oh no, you
mentally amazing.
That's a great comment.
Yeah, no, appreciate that. Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, but it's like alluding to your point, Kev. It's like you know they cut people out of their lives because they have a different opinion, which then pushes them further into their own opinion, and then more adversely disagreeing with the opinion that pushed them there. So it's almost like this perpetuating like negativity opposed to just accepting that this other opinion exists and I can also exist without that in my life even though it's around. I don't have to let that affect me. And so if you're allowing external circumstances, and look, I've been guilty of this, everybody's been guilty of this, where life happens, external circumstances, and we get thrown off our center, and we're reacting to it, and it becomes a bad day, and then it continues to be a catalyst on top of itself, and then it compounds, and then all of a sudden, like, that turned into this problem, and now I'm just having this horrible day. You know, that could happen to anybody, but you got to see where it starts,
right?
And that's where, you know, the courage to accept and be neutral and be honest with yourself really comes into play. And then once you really start having that self relationship, that's when you can start to actually grow as an individual. And then you'll realize maybe these negative people in my life, like, they want me to stay on the ground with them.
Exactly, or they just don't need to be around. You have to be okay, like you were saying, you have to be okay with people exiting your life, or even being okay with not wanting them a part of your life. Like, if someone if someone asks your opinion and you have a whole different opinion, and for some odd reason they look at you differently, and that makes you feel different about who you are, you have to, like you said, take a moment and think about that. Like, why would that make you feel different when all you did was give your opinion, give your interest, give your perspective? You know, maybe they don't need to be in my life. Maybe they don't need to be around me. And settle with the fact that letting them go is what you have to do.
Sometimes.
Whether it's a job, whether it's an opportunity, whatever it is, just bye.
Yeah, absolutely. And
sometimes we're afraid of letting go.
We are.
Or missing an opportunity. Or starting over.
And some people are so, you know, also, like, on the reverse side
I'm
of that.
stuttering a lot. I don't know where it's coming from.
No, you're good. You're good. I didn't even notice, honestly. Like, you were making a good point. No, you're making a good point.
I didn't hear anything.
Okay. Thank you. But it was.
You just blew up your own spot for no reason.
Because I'm like, why am I stuttering? Why is it so hard for me to talk? What's going on?
You should hear some of the things that we say on here. I mean, I sometimes I don't even make any sense. I probably don't make sense right now. But
I've just been nodding yes to you the whole night, actually. Because I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
That's usually the best way. Just cut the camera and go, that makes sense. But yeah, so on the flip side of that, right? Then you have people that try to keep people in their lives for the wrong reasons.
That's true too.
And I'm going to quote Coach Corey Wayne here, who changed my life tremendously. Why try to keep people in your lives that don't want to keep you in theirs? Right? And that could be friends, that could be cousins, that could be brothers, that could be anybody, right? Why try to keep someone in your life that is not trying to keep you in theirs?
Yeah.
Right? And I think a lot of people are also, looking for, well, I got to prove to this person that I'm this and that, and I'm going to keep this person around, and they try so hard. And all that's showing is that they're not really valuing themselves, right? And that they're not comfortable doing this journey on their own, or just comfortable in their current position. I'm going to prove to so-and-so, that I'm worthy of being in their life. And meanwhile, this person's like, I don't want you in my life. So I think that's a good quote to take away from that, on the opposite side of what we were discussing.
True. And sometimes you don't even realize that's what you're doing when you're staying around individuals that don't want you around them, or that makes it hard for you to be yourself, and you are still in their lives. You're kind of enabling that behavior, and you're kind of giving the message that you're trying to prove something to them, when sometimes you're not trying to prove anything. You're just still thinking that the person's a good person when really they're not a good person, but they're getting a whole different message because they're intentionally treating you like shit, but you're still there. So in their eyes, it's like you're trying to prove to them that you care, that that you're important, that they should value you, but that's not really what's going on, but that's how they see it because they're already just
And that's just making a bad situation worse.
It really is, and I've been in that place
where
I've been around people that, took my presence incorrectly. And I had to kind of step away and see it for what it was, and be honest. Like, they're reading it differently, and I'm obviously enabling them to get that message from me. So I need to just walk away.
Sometimes the greatest way of saying something is to say nothing at all.
And that is horrible.
That's a good one.
I wrote a quote, and I'm like, what did I say? I was saying, like, one of the worst options to have is to say nothing. Like, it's a horrible option, but it's an option, and it's needed sometimes.
Well, and
silence is golden.
It depends. Like, sometimes people have earned that. If you've tried talking to people, you try talking it out, like, or whatever it is. It took me a long time to get to this place mentally, and Kev knows about the chopping block policy. So, like, I have a chopping block. Kevin has potential to go on there. My mom.
Oh,
every single person.
I'm like that too now.
Like,
yeah.
I don't care who you are, what it is. I'm done. I'm done with taking less than what I deserve. I'm done with not getting what I put out there.
Take a stand.
If you're my mom, like my niece and my nephew, I love you guys to death, but please don't try me.
You don't want to end up on the butcher block. You don't want to be on the block.
No, I'm just holding his cleaver up here like, you're on that fine line of venting and complaining too much. You know, I don't like complainers. You know, I'm not trying to hear that shit. Like, venting is important.
It's so important.
But, like, you know, sometimes people just walk around and complain all day, and that's the easiest thing to do, and nothing gets accomplished, and it perpetuates drama and grapevine gossip bullshit.
Yep.
And I'm
so good.
I want the flavor. I want the real flavor, man. So it's like, if for me, one of my things is, if somebody is, the people I strive to keep in my life are people who their foundation thought process is optimistic, because life is full of challenges and speed bumps, and we have no control over that. Like, there's always going to be something that comes up.
No matter how much you want to have control of it.
It's chaos. And so for me, the people that I'm keeping the closest are the people who are able to take that chaos with a grin on their face and be like, I'm thankful that I am able to rise to this challenge. Because it's either you rise to the challenges or you get defeated by it, and then you cower it out, you go hide, you quit there. Like, that's it, all for nothing. And like, honestly, I can get all amped up sitting here right now, just even, I can feel my energy changing talking about this, because it's mega important, you know, because that's what brought me out of the depths, was being able to stay optimistic and recognize that there's always a challenge around the corner. And when good times are good, stay present and appreciate that, because I know there's going to be something that comes up soon that I might not be prepared for.
Right.
You know, so that's kind of where I'm at with the whole chopping block. Like, not everyone deserves to be in your life. No. Boo, they don't. No. And, you know, or Kevin's or the listener. You probably got people in your life right now that want you to keep laying on the floor with them, opposed to running and being successful. Like, people, like Paul Roseberry said, the people who are down, they want you to just go lay on the floor with them and just lay there. Like, they don't want to see you up, moving around.
That's the whole misery loves company thing, right? People get upset. They want to pull you down to their level. They're not doing well and you're having a good day. They don't like that. Not everybody, but that negative energy is always out there, and we're going to constantly be tested by it.
And it can attach itself to you if you let it.
Oh, easy.
It really can.
Yeah, because what's the negative polarization is stronger than the positive, like when it comes to, like, you know, magnets and stuff. So that negative energy is, like, easier to get pulled to. You got to make that, you know, that positive move.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's always around. I think that's the bottom line. It's always around. It's always going to be around. And we're not a manager of our life. We're a creator of it, right?
Exactly.
So I try to remind myself of those things. I love those kind of, you know, quotes and simple motivational things. But
exactly,
we're in the driver's seat. It's not up to Art for me to show up here, and it's not up to Art for me to go do what I got to do. It's my responsibility.
And I'm like that even when I'm in relationships with other people. Like, I want to make sure that I'm mindful. I want to make sure that I'm considerate. I want to make sure that I'm, you know, putting my best foot forward for them as well. I don't want to show up and be halfway with anyone, you know. So I know, if I want good people in my life, I need to be good when I enter someone's life as well. So
that's fair. That's a great approach.
It's only right, you know.
Well, I would say
not everyone deserves to be in my life, and I don't deserve to be in everyone's life either. So I'm grateful.
It's important to recognize that, though, because some people can't recognize that. Like I was saying earlier, they feel like they should be in everyone's life, and vice versa. And I'm going to show them this kind of thing. No, it's a case by case basis. And that chopping block is polished up. I got the wood oil on there, and it's ready.
I'm mindful of the friends I have, because I don't want to have them around people that I'm just mindful. It's only right.
Yes. So, everyone, you've been warned. The butcher knife is sharp and the block is polished, and that's good though. And I would agree with your statement about when you show up and you show up right. You came in, you dressed to the, what do they call it, the nines? Dressed to the T? Is dressed to the nines even a saying?
I've never heard that.
It is. It's a saying. It's a saying.
That sounds like a golf term. Like if you're gonna play the front nine.
Huh.
It's around there.
No, you brought your energy in correct. You've been open and upfront on this show with basically two strangers, and it's refreshing. It is refreshing, and I love that there's driven people out there and willing to expose themselves on a platform like this. So, one question that we do ask every guest that comes in, and we're gonna ask you this question too. So, one piece of advice, if you could give one piece of advice to everybody listening or watching, so they could all be better. Let's say the whole world listens to this episode. What would that one piece of advice be to help everybody grow as an individual?
Own your shit. you know, own your shit. Like, you know, take accountability for your actions, and, you know, just own your shit. Once you can own your shit, you can be better for those around you, because you don't want to be in shit anymore. You don't want to bring shit to people. So I'm sorry, that's the only way I can put it. That's the advice that I give to a lot of people, and a lot of advice that I take is owning your shit, you know. Yeah, and be you. It's okay to be yourself. Like, it's okay. You get further when you are yourself, you know. So yeah.
No, I totally agree with that. I do, and correct me if I'm
sorry
incorrect. No, this is an 18+ show.
Okay.
So
yeah, you're good.
Yeah, we're allowed to swear here, thank goodness.
Yeah, no children tuning in. If you are, watch something else.
Yeah. Who allowed you onto this program? You know, we intentionally do that, and we lose out on a lot of clicks potentially because of that, but this is how we maintain real content.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and give my opinion on owning your shit. There's so many people that are blaming others for their circumstances. And this one is from Will Smith. I was listening to like one of his motivational things one time, and he was all like saying something along the lines like, yeah, your husband left you, or yeah, you were abused, or yeah, you were on drugs, or like whatever the scenario, yeah, that happened to you, but it's our personal responsibility. It's your responsibility to make something out. What are you going to do about it? Instead of just blaming, oh, my life's shitty because this happened and that happened, like, that's not owning your shit. That's just blaming other circumstances for your own complacency. So it's like, stop being complacent, like, own your problems and own your shit. Like, it is great advice, and it's simple advice, and usually that is the greatest advice.
Keep it simple. Simplicity sells. It always has, and it's always made sense to me. It's not easy for everyone, though, but it is good advice. I mean, one of our hashtags on this program for 4 years has been own it.
Oh, wow.
Own it. You know, hashtag own it has been like in every single episode, because you got to own it. If you don't own it, who's going to own it? Somebody's got to own it. Who has you know, the rights to this property? Who owns this property? I own this property. Me. This is my property. I own it. Right? I don't know what I just that's kind of what it looks like to me.
Are you calling yourself property?
You are your own property. That's okay.
This is Batstone property right here.
We were never supposed to talk about that agreement out loud, Kevin.
Oh, yes. Yes, I have broken one of the agreements.
But when you guys do have the time, go to my Instagram and listen to that short story. It will bring a lot. It'll just help you get to know me a little bit better as well, and all that good stuff.
I want to check it out. And actually, you just segued into a great opportunity for you to plug anything you want to plug.
Oh.
And it'll all be down in the show notes down below. Viewers, listeners, just scroll down, check it out. Where they go?
I'm just the real Ameosha Thomas. That's it. I don't know how to plug, but just that. It's on
Instagram, Facebook.
Instagram. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's called The Power of Standing in Your Truth.
Excellent.
Yeah, we're going to share that and push that.
I feel like a lot of people need to hear it. And I'm sorry, I get excited.
No, you
especially
get
when
excited.
you talk for some reason.
Get excited.
You should be excited.
Okay.
People are tired of looking at us. They want to look at you. What do you have to say?
Nothing else. That's.
Well, definitely check that out. It sounds like a great read. Or listen, read, whatever. Is it both?
It's
it visual and audio?
No, it's not. You can't. It's not a visual. It's just. I mean, it's a visual, but and it's an audio. You can listen and you can watch, but you can't read it.
Okay.
So.
Well, I look forward to watching and listening.
Yeah.
To that.
Yeah.
Seems inspiring.
It's very inspiring. It's very inspiring. And
I can tell you got a lot of passion for it.
Yeah.
So we need to check that out.
It helped me. I go back to my own story, and it helps me.
How often do you refer back to it?
Whenever I find myself wanting to go back down a path of just nothing, whenever I find myself forgetting how far I've come, whenever I don't give myself credit, whenever I stop believing in myself.
Wow.
No, that's important.
That's powerful stuff.
And to create as well, that's a beautiful place to be. When the pandemic first happened, a lot of people were paid to stay at home, and like all this other, like a lot of people started creating because that's the natural path. And again, props for coming on here, exposing your truth. We're definitely going to push the Instagram and make sure everybody has visibility to that, so we can continue to help people. Yeah. You being honest on here, it's going to help some people, you know, and that's what makes this. That's why I keep coming back, because this show is bigger than me as an individual. It has a much bigger impact than just who I am, and it's important. And we're really honored that you came on, reached out, and made that connection to continue to grow, because you're in our network now, right? So
you're in the wheelhouse.
You can stay in touch with us.
I'm subscribing. I'm doing all that good stuff.
Oh yeah.
Once you're in the wheelhouse, there's no getting out.
Okay. I think I like being in the wheelhouse.
Yeah, we're gonna be
place.
checking in, making sure that you're succeeding, sticking to your guns and stuff. And then our listeners love repeat guests, so within the next year, get you back. We'll see how the stories have progressed.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
Yes.
It's a fun journey that we get to experience together. You never know who you're going to bump into when you're on a walk, asking someone about what bird this is.
Right.
And it turns into an incredible conversation.
That's how it went.
I mean, that's what's amazing about life. You just don't know. People get out there and experience life. It's fun. Go do something. You just don't know what's going to happen.
Yep.
You know, so let's keep the wheels turning. Let's go.
Yes.
Maybe you're turning the wheel, slinging it downfield. Whatever you're doing, be good to yourselves.
Definitely be good to yourself. Definitely.
Yep. Be good to yourselves. Believe and achieve. You deserve everything that you've earned, and accepting that truth is actually a really important place to be.
Yes, it is.
You know.
Yes, it is.
So thank you for your time so much. And listeners, we'll be back to you next week. Check out Happy Friday America tomorrow,
Awesome.
YouTube only. And we are out.
Love y'all.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. Okay.
We'll cut it right there. That was dope.
Yes, it
Hour
was.
and 5 minutes, somewhere there.
Yeah.
Awesome.